I'm struck by Ms. O'Keefe, and I think she's right when she said we go for legal opinions, and sometimes we push them aside, but it's the best opinion we've been able to get up to now. My question is, I feel I'm a disenfranchised voter. I voted for Anne Awad, and I don't know of any legal opinion that suggests that she violated any laws. And did this board seek a legal opinion to determine the allegations and whether any laws were violated? I think I'm entitled as a disenfranchised voter to know the answer to that question. If we're going to talk about leveling the playing field, let's do it about the whole idea that we're meeting to replace somebody who was voted by thousands of voters in this town. And the way I look at it, the politics of the community was such that Ms. Awad, in effect, threw in the towel and was driven out of this town. But I know of no legal opinion by this board. And I ask, before we get into this, should we do it on the 16th or December 2nd? I think we have, as a community, a responsibility to right an injustice. And I think it's an injustice because this board has not taken a position on the validity of the allegations that have been made against Ms. Awad. And as a voter in this community, I think I'm entitled to that.
As far as town council is concerned, she has broken no laws.
Then why are we having this discussion?
Because she resigned.
Why did she resign?
You'll have to talk.
Did this board take a position to defend the right of somebody who has a different opinion on this board to continue to be on the board? She was driven out of town by spurious allegations and stalking and who knows what else. And I think if I'm going to stay in this town, I want to know that this is not going to ever happen again. But in order for us to clear the air, we need some demonstration from this board that there was an injustice in behalf of Ms. Awad. I'm not suggesting to her that she should not resign. She's made that decision. I know the tremendous responsibilities that are inherent in the work of the board members. And to me, it's obscene that somebody who's put in hundreds and hundreds of hours, Ms. Awad is well known throughout the region for her, not only her dedication to what she does, but the professionalism of what she does, and she's been treated like trash.
I agree.
We need to deal with that.
I personally agree with you 100%.
Well, if the facts are that she's not violated anything, then why are we allowing witch hunting to take place in this town against a member of our community?
I don't know.
Why are we silent? And I think this board has an obligation to us. If I'm going to respect what you do as a board, then I think the issue of civil rights and civil liberties is in question here. We have enough of experience in the last 80 years of my life to understand the difference between having honest differences of opinion and imposing injustice on people because they are not liked for whatever reason. This is a bigger issue, and it strikes at the heart of who we are as a community. And I have been silent up to now for medical reasons. And I knew that the moment I stood up and talked about this, that I will be paying a price. But it's a price that I'm willing to pay because I can go home and sleep tonight because I've said what I'm saying. And it's up to you to pick up the ball. It's not too late. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing that forward. Mr. O'Connor, do you have something else to add?
It does not appear that any member of the majority who voted to rescind the previous motion regarding the special election has any intention of changing their vote or moving to reconsider. I have listened to the board. In between all the other comments, I've heard 4 members of the board say pretty clearly that November 4th is the date that they are most comfortable with. I've heard the town manager say, and whose memo I think was very helpful, and the fact that he talked to Mr. House was a very helpful memo on behalf of the staff, that they would carry out the decision of the board with professionalism and competence. And I think those of us who know the town clerk and her staff and the people who serve at the polling places know that that will take place. So I just would urge that the board, that somebody make a motion that takes into consideration what the members of the board have individually said, and so that we can move on. And again, I'm not absolutely convinced, unless there's a legal opinion out there that I haven't and hasn't been referred to or seen, that the signatures that were already gathered won't be valid. I think that's a matter for the town council. I don't know that the town council has opined on that matter yet, but it's certainly something that, should the board set the date, that I think is in everyone's mind, that's one of the first questions. And I hope the town council will be of the opinion that those signatures would be valid, but we won't know until we ask.
Jared?
Yes, I'm sorry.
May I speak?
You may.
First of all, I'd like to say that I agree with what Mr. BenEzra said, and it really makes me think less of Amherst, that we allowed Ms. Awad to be pushed off the board when she had been duly elected by outrageous behavior. And I wish that there were a way that we could turn back the clock and not accept her resignation. But unfortunately, once the wheels start turning, there is nothing that one can do. The process is too far along. Secondly, I would like to make a motion that we ask the town clerk to permit the signatures that have been gathered to be valid for the election that will occur, whether it be on November 4th or December 2nd, so that the candidates who have already obtained the needed signatures do not have to go out and do it again. Although I personally will help anyone if that actually comes to pass.
Yeah.
I think there's a motion on the floor that would need to
Yeah, there is a motion
voted on or amended before we have a
Do you
motion.
wanna-
Another motion.
Do you want to keep your motion as it is?
My motion,
You have
for
to
the December 2nd,
Right, that's the motion on the floor.
I chose the date of December 2nd with the advice and pleading, actually, of Sandra Burgess, the town clerk, as one that they could manage. I am not wedded to that date, and I am willing to consider another. I do consider that November 4th will, based on her statement, which we have in hand, will produce a hardship for her. But if the select board feels strongly that we need to have someone in place sooner, and that we must proceed that way because of the hardship it would be for the board, then that's a valid argument. And so at this point, we can debate the December 2nd motion.
Are you willing to change that date?
Absolutely.
Weighing everything.
Right.
I would be inclined to vote for November 4th.